We are in a society where, a lot of people on social media, they reference the universe, Mother Nature, manifest rather than pray. So, how do you feel about that?
Tiara, that's a great question. And when we look at the term manifest and how it's played out in the culture, it means basically to bring into being. And here's the crazy thing about manifest. The context of manifest really means to create. And we as human beings lack the capacity to create anything. We can make stuff, but we can't create. So when we talk about creating versus making, there's only one creator, and that's God. We take what God has created and we make different things. So when we look at this tablecloth, when we look at the mics, when we look at your phone, when we look at the clothes we wear, those things were made out of things that God created. And we as humans then took it and manipulated it to become an apparatus for our use. So with that, we really, in a sense, lack the capacity to manifest anything. I mean, you tell me, who in his or her right mind can go and speak and stuff start happening? The only person that can do that, the only being that can do that is God. So really, there's only one, quote, manifester, and that's God. The
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to yet another CAYA. I am your host, Reverend Eric Edwards, and it is my delight and true pleasure to welcome you all to CAYA episode 10 of the year. Y'all, we have almost done a whole year worth of CAYAs.
Wow.
How do y'all feel about that?
CAYA series.
Excited.
Feel good.
So, yeah, we have talked about some great stuff throughout this whole year, and we're definitely just glad that you have been following with us and journeying with us on CAYA for this whole year. Well, family, we are here. Like I said, this is episode 10 of CAYA, and our topic today is Home for the Holidays, Nurturing Your Emotional Well-Being this November. And I have some awesome panelists here with me on this evening. I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. So let's start over here with Junior. How you doing, Junior?
I'm good. I hope everyone's well. Thank you for joining Kai tonight.
Courtney?
Hi, my name is Courtney.
Courtney, welcome back.
Thank you
Welcome
so
back.
much.
Hey, everyone. It's Tiara. Happy Wednesday.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jareth. Nice to meet everyone. Good seeing y'all again.
Welcome, Jared. So, Jared, you're the newbie. This
Yes,
is your
sir.
first time on CAYA. So just tell us brief about who you are, what you do. How long you been a member here at St. Paul?
My name is Jareth Tomberlin. I'm actually the director of bands at Sun Valley High School down in Monroe in Union County. Trumpet player. Most of the people that probably have seen me up at St. Paul, I'll sit up there behind Dr. Gibson with the musicians and play trumpet with the guys. Been a member coming to St. Paul ever since the COVID years, and I believe going into my 2.5 years of membership, because I know you were a part of my orientation class.
Yeah, running CEO. I've been running CEO since I was an intern at St. Paul.
Yep.
Yeah, well, welcome, Jared. We're definitely glad to have you here with us, and we're definitely glad that you are here on CAYA on today.
Appreciate it.
So, beloved, just really saying it again, we are talking about our topic, Home for the Holidays, nurturing your emotional well-being this November. So during this time of the year, right, people experience a range of emotions because it's holiday season, right? For some people, the holiday season may be an exciting and joyful time, while for others, the holidays may contain sadness, somberness, and anxiety. The holiday season can be a fun time and great laughter with family and friends, while other times this holiday season can be stressful because of unsettling conversations, right? Complex relationships, family drama. So during tonight's discussion, Here's our goal. Our goal is simply this. We want to help you to navigate difficult conversations and prioritize your mental and emotional health. The truth is, encountering difficult conversations, family drama, and passive aggressive comments are inevitable, right? It's gonna happen at some point. And our goal here on tonight, with these great, brilliant young adults, our goal here on tonight is to help you to properly care for yourself during and after family gatherings because your mental and emotional well-being are significant. So what we offer today, we will speak from our experience as young adults, right? Things we're seeing in our own familial dynamics, or things we're seeing also on social media. We've done research. So we're going to also speak from what we've seen therapists say and sociologists say. And we're going to give you some practical tips on dealing with navigating those difficult conversations and being amongst people who may aggravate you at times. We're going to help you with all of that. So welcome to CAYA tonight. To get started off here tonight, this is just going to be a free flow discussion. So what are you all looking forward to the most during this holiday season?
Not having to wake up at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Teacher struggles.
Yeah. You wake up every morning at 6:30.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, and wake up at 6:30 every morning, in the office by 7:30, and of course, as a band director, it's always late nights, late weekends, but just a nice little breather to reset the mental, reset for the new semester, and just being around family and people that I don't get to see much because family is kind of spread out over North Carolina, South Carolina, and the States.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Others, what are you all looking forward to during this holiday season?
I'm definitely looking forward to spending time with family. I love the holiday time, all the lights, and just how festive it is.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Oh, that's good. You get in a real holiday mood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you like decorate
Nice.
the tree, right?
Yeah.
Going there,
And it's
yeah.
my son's second Christmas.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I'm excited to
Wow.
actually play this year.
What do
Right.
There you go.
We don't know yet.
You know what you can get on. Yeah, Tierra Jr., what are you all looking forward to during this holiday
For
season?
me, I would say mental break.
Yeah.
My week, my day to day is pretty busy, so just having just some time to just really just breathe, going into the new year. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Last time you was on, you said your boss aggravated you.
Yeah.
They did that today?
We not taking that into the new year.
No, not at all. I would say for myself, like really spending time with family.
Yeah.
One of the things that I want to do is like make a cookbook. So like just doing some of the recipes with my grandmother, like just trying to share those moments.
Oh, wow. Wow. What's some of your favorite recipes?
I like the pecan
Oh,
pie.
God.
I wanted to show me do the red velvet cake, like just mostly sweet stuff. I kind of got everything else down packed, but
I'm
Okay.
excited for the food.
Okay.
yeah,
A little confident in cooking.
yeah,
Okay.
no problem there.
No problem there.
Yeah, no, similar with you all. I'm just looking forward to family, right? Watching sports, Thanksgiving, football on Thanksgiving, but Christmas, NBA on Christmas, and then just looking forward to some good food.
Right.
And I'm on a sugar diet right now because I'm about to, digest all that sugar next week. I'm
There you go.
I'm training my body, right? Yeah. Yeah. Now, contrarily, what are you all not looking forward to during this holiday season?
Political discussions that may happen at the dinner table.
Yeah.
Contrasting political views from within and around the family, trying to figure out how to navigate those in a professional and healthy and polite way. Yeah, I know it's going to be different, especially considering me, my fiance and my daughter. I know our political views are one way, then I've got one half of the family that's political views are another way. So trying to make sure we can all still have family time while respecting differences.
Yeah. That would definitely mess up family time right there.
Yes.
Politics. Yeah, definitely. Wow. Others, what are you all not looking?
For me, grief shows up heavy this time of year for me, so that's one thing I'm not looking forward to. But I have the resources such as my church community. therapy, so I feel like that'll help me navigate it. During this
Yeah,
time.
wow.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, definitely talk to your therapist and do what you need.
Yeah.
And also to throw a plug, right? We have the mental health conversation that's going on Saturday. So you all have not registered for the mental health conversations yet. Please do that. They're going to be talking about navigating the holiday season from a slightly different standpoint to what we're going to talk about tonight. They're doing it from more of a mental health and grief standpoint, right? Dealing with those who you've lost, making it through the holiday season. So I urge you all, sign up for that. You don't want to miss it. 3 brilliant therapists.
That's something I didn't even think about because this is going to be my first Thanksgiving and Christmas without my mom's mother because we lost her over the summer.
Yeah.
The only thing I've got left to remember her is granddad's ring here that I now wear. But that one's, I know, I didn't even think about that. It's going to hit me kind of hard on Thursday and Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, we're definitely praying you all's comfort, God's comfort on you all during this time, because the holiday season really brings up a lot of those sacred memories that we hold with our loved ones. So
Absolutely.
Like you said, Sierra, like leaning on your resources, like us and other folks and therapists, I think that'd be great. I would say for me, like, not to say like I'm an outsider, but like I am an outsider in my family. So like we're going on vacation to Florida.
Okay.
So
Nice.
it's just gonna kind of be like, I can't just like go in my house and close the door.
Yeah.
Like we're actually all gonna be together. So I think again, setting those boundaries and just really just still being able to have fun and be authentically myself without having pressure from outsiders.
yeah.
So
Well, that's good.
within that vacation, are you going to have any time to where maybe even though family is important, you can go off and do your own thing for a little bit?
Yeah, I'm driving. Like I'm driving alone. Like
There
I
you
have
go.
access
That's
to
a
a
good
car.
one.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And Courtney, how about you?
I guess the gift shopping, trying to figure out what to get everybody, that's a little difficult.
Yeah.
I typically really love this.
Spend a whole lot of time at the mall, right? Yeah.
This mom's gonna be crazy.
I know, right? Yeah.
And they all try to get you with those sales. Like,
It's not really sales.
Right.
Yeah. That's why you do online shopping.
Yeah.
I can't. One thing I can't stand.
Cyber Monday. Maybe.
Listen, I can't stand going in the store and somebody come up and ask, "Can I help you find something?" No, never mind. I'm good. I'm an introvert, so don't talk to me. Yeah. For me, I'm not looking forward to, like you, Jared, I'm not looking forward to the political discussions, but I'm also not looking forward to the religious and biblical conversations. I know I'm a preacher, but I don't want to talk Bible all the time.
Facts.
Now, do your family assume that because of?
They assume that you want to talk Bible.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
we also got preachers in the family. That's the thing. We have preachers. We have like 3 of them.
Oh.
So they all want to talk Bible. We got deacons too. So it's like
right.
everybody want to talk theology, and it's like, can't we just talk sports, right? Bronny just got sent to the G League,
Right.
NFL. It's like, can we be normal? And it's also we're also holding different views. And we're gonna get into this, right, when people think they're right and not really open to other viewpoints or perspectives. Right. It can kind of turn the conversation off.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm not looking forward to being around Bible talk. Yeah. If you want to talk about the Bible, talk to me on Sunday. All right. So now we're gonna go into our first section, which is disagreements. So from what you all are seeing, what are current trends around young adults, right, engaging with those who they disagree with? Do they do it? Do young adults not do it, right? What do you see?
I think they do it. I think that they're not afraid to do it, but I think that a lot of times they're doing it from like a way where it's like not a two-way avenue. Like they're not being receptive to gaining anything in the process of stating how they feel. So I think it has to be like an opportunity to learn and grow from it while you're also expressing your opinion.
Yeah. So it's just like one person, right? They think they're right about something, and they're not trying to really listen to what somebody else have to say.
Yes.
So I mean, it can kind of be a little combative, right? I see that on social media too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's also like, I mean, I'm 31, so now, especially now that I've gotten into my 30s, it's when I go back to these family dinners and everything like that, and I start to have these conversations, it's getting some of those family members to realize that I'm actually an adult. And yeah, I might be your grandson, I might be your nephew, but I'm not that nephew or that grandson anymore. I'm actually an adult. I pay my taxes, invest in my portfolio and everything and so give me the respect I've earned in my time so we can have this not grandparent to grandchild but adult to adult conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of times it's like a lot, especially the older generation, we still kind of get slight sometimes, it's like, oh, well, this is how it was done in my day. Well, that's great, but we're in 2024. We need to live there.
The cost of a loaf of bread has gone up.
Exactly. Please.
Yeah, everything is changing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that brings me to another question, right? How do you all personally respond, right, when you're kind of engaging with people who you disagree with?
Now,
Right.
I see y'all very hostile with people. Okay.
Oh, no.
But I'm
No.
only gonna go back and forth for so much, and then I'm just let you have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I think the older I get, I'm learning how to like agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Like it's not my job to like sway your mind. Like
No.
it's my job to uphold my beliefs. Like regardless of how you feel, I'm gonna still feel this way, and we can have a discussion, or I can exit the argument. Like
Yeah. And for me, I'm just one of those people. It's about how you say something.
Yeah.
More than,
That's a big one.
It's really tone. Tone is really
Yeah.
big to me. So
Yeah.
I feel like we can't talk about anything as long as you approach it the right way.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
It-
not coming from an angry
Yeah.
place,
Yeah. It can be polite, it can be respectful. We can agree to disagree, but the moment I realize that you're starting to get heightened, if you will, slightly irritated, slightly angry, and the moment I realize that I'm talking to a brick wall, again, deviate, turn, change the topic, or just okay, cool. I'm gonna go over here and talk with my cousins.
So that's what you do, right, Tierra? You just kind of just back away. You just
Yeah.
I'm out, right? Don't change in the topic.
like what happened
Oh, I
to
was
Sierra?
I
Like
just
gone.
yeah. We're gonna do
So-
this.
So here's what sociologists say how you can have healthy and respectful disagreements, because it's totally possible. I think we just live in a culture that you kind of don't want to engage with those who have different thought. That's actually, I was listening to NPR and they actually just came up. They was having a discussion today, then listen to it about how to engage with those who you hold different viewpoints with. So I urge you all to go on NPR and look at it. But here's just what sociologists say, right? First off, be open. Be open to the reality that somebody may not share a similar viewpoint with you. We all are different people, right? Which means we think different thoughts. We have different lives, right? We come from different perspectives. But that does not mean that we can't have constructive dialogue, right? Secondly, determine the goal of the conversation. The goal of the conversation, which people might disagree, the goal of that conversation, of your disagreements, it should not be to debate.
Right.
Rather, it should be to offer new perspectives, right? So I guess, what are you telling yourself in your mind, right? Are you gonna come off as defensive, or is it, okay, you might offer something different that I might not have considered before, but I'm gonna see what you have to offer differently. Thirdly, sociologists say refuse to dehumanize. In any disagreement, remember that behind every opinion is a person with unique experiences that shaped their perspective, right? We all were raised differently. We all were raised in different cities with different cultures, different languages and dialects and slangs, right? So all of that got to go into, we are still people, right? So and we're products of our own social location.
Okay.
Fourthly, find common ground. Even in heated disagreements, there are often shared values or common experiences that unite us instead of divide us, right? There's something we both share at the core, right? You may be concerned about something. I'm also concerned about it as well. And that can be what is used to unite us. And then lastly, if we're going to engage in constructive conversation, don't speak from mere personal opinion, but speak from research and proven facts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good too.
I think that's a good one, right? In the article, Having Conversations Across Different Viewpoints, here's what the author says, quote, being well informed can help you engage in the conversation thoughtfully and with respect for its complexity End quote. In other words, we got to resist the temptation of arguing about things that we don't know about in depthly, right? We may have not known all the facts about it, right? We don't know all that there is to consider about that topic. So this is what sociologists say of how to engage people. I'm sure there's other tips that may be out there, but just in reading and research, right? This is some of the tips of what it takes to have a healthy disagreement.
And I also wanted to add, so James, chapter 1, verse 19 also says, "My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry." And even if that is easier said than done, that's something we can always rely on and go back to as well.
Yeah.
Because we know that's how God wants us to handle it.
Yeah.
And I also heard, I don't know if y'all ever seen The War Room. That movie.
Yes.
And she was talking about it from a relationship point of view, but anytime you're arguing, like look at it like y'all against the problem
Yeah.
instead of y'all two against
That's a
each
good
other.
one.
And I really have implemented that in my life
Uh-huh.
because when you do try to do against each other, you lose sight of what was
Yeah.
the goal, what was the
Yeah.
focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, Pastor just preached about that. I mean, he wasn't in James, but his first point of his sermon from Sunday was, right, listen, be quiet.
Right. Exactly.
You can't process how you really feel if you just so quick to respond.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel like that's what we got to do. We got to just sometimes just be quiet.
Yeah.
And have formed thoughts first and critically think about it. I think that's one thing that's missing with in our culture, especially those of the next generation, are critical thinking skills.
Right.
Wrestling with something in your mind, thinking about the implications of it, what happens if that viewpoint was to actually be true, what's the implications of it if it's not true, right? Truly wrestling with that thought and then offering a well-formed opinion. So thank you for that, Courtney. That's a good one.
Yeah, it was great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now that we have these thoughts on how to engage in healthy disagreements and healthy conversations, how do we counter the cultural norm, right, of kind of avoiding people because of differing perspectives?
I would say like start offering more safe spaces. I mean, I feel like that we were just, me and Courtney were just talking about like just having a safe space like this. And I've seen a lot of folks surrounding the election, like a lot of organizations or folks that are actually doing work are offering like sessions or offering like, that safe space to kind of discuss some of the topics that may be going on or that are trending, because whenever you do get online, it's like a overwhelming, at least for me, it's so much information. Like, what do you believe? What's true? What's not? So to actually have those facts, some of the facts that Pastor was speaking during this sermon, I think that's going to be an educational way to kind of address and create those safe spaces to have open dialogue.
Yeah. No, I think that's good.
Because we do, it seems like, to go back to the social media, it seems like we have a cancel culture. That's what they call it. And it's like you can be afraid to speak your opinion or go against what seems normal, being afraid of being canceled. But like you said, those safe spaces help you. Having someone around you in real life that you can talk to as well helps.
Yeah. I think underlying also those safe spaces, and what you are getting at is really this humble approach and intention of, right, you may not know everything.
Yes.
You
don't know it all.
And it's all right. It's all right to say I don't know. Yeah, like we're not gonna judge you if you don't know, right? It's all right to say, but be humble about it, right? And just it's all right. Other people have something different to offer, and that's all right. And just be open to it, right? In the book Nonviolent Communication, the author speaks about the difference between moralistic judgments and value judgments. Moralistic judgments, it applies wrongness or badness on the people who don't act in harmony with our values.
Okay.
Right? So they hold something different to their core that's different than ours, and we get angry if what they're doing don't align to what we believe.
Okay.
Then you have value judgments, which are the qualities that we value in life. And the author says that we make moralistic judgments of people and behaviors that fail to support our own value judgments, right? They're wrong, because I deemed it is wrong, and because I have a value that's against that. Because you did it, you're wrong. Right? And the author says that in order to hear the other person out in conversation, it's important for us to not think that our value judgments are universal and that they're not the same for everybody. Right? So I think just going back to this different perspective, different upbringing, different experience, where you're at in your own life, it can be used to grow something beautiful in you and even me. I even think we shut ourselves down, right? When we don't constructively engage with different thoughts and opinions. Like, why wouldn't I read that book? Right? Why won't I engage? As hard as it may be, because in this culture that we live in, it's incredibly difficult to engage with people who think different than you. Yeah. And it doesn't help also with social media kind of not encouraging, right, healthy dialogue between differing opinions. Yeah. So yeah, we got some work to do to push back against that. Right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, even doing things like this and just surrounding yourself with like-minded people, I think it'll be easier to do it when you do encounter people that don't see.
Yeah.
I mean, even with your family and friends, y'all won't always get along.
Yeah.
Or have the same viewpoints on things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think it is easier said than done.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just clear cut, right? For instance, I'm introverted, so I know for me, and I'm naturally quiet, so for me, it's gonna take some. What you mean? Wow. Because y'all see me in a different light. Y'all see me on CAYA and the meeting, so that's different.
I haven't met that Eric yet, so
Put me around some strangers, and I'm gonna be quiet.
Do you have any advice for anyone who is introverted handling disagreement?
Yes, that's a great
Because,
question.
I mean,
Absolutely.
if you're introverted, your opinion still matters.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I had to wipe the sweat off my head.
You're good.
All right. So if you're introverted, one, you are totally fine. Be you, be who you are. Don't try to be extroverted if you're not extroverted. Like, be your authentic self.
Right.
As an introvert, engaging in dialogue and people who disagree with me, I'm kind of what Pastor talked about on Sunday. I'm really slow to speak. Matter of fact, even in my classes, I'm not the first that's gonna speak. Even when it comes to family, we have those biblical and religious discussions. I'm not the first that's gonna speak. I'm gonna kind of sit back and observe what you're saying. I want you to finish your sentence first, and then after that, I'm gonna kind of just chew on what's being said for a couple minutes, and then I have to work up some confidence to respond, because I have to first think, right, is this worth my response? Because I think every, disagreement, it does not necessarily call for a response. I think that's how arguments
That's
start.
true.
Yeah.
It's hard sometimes.
Silence is an answer too.
That's
That's a whole response right there.
Okay.
Just a mere
powerful
period,
one.
right? Yeah, it's a powerful response. So I'm thinking through, right, is this worth a response? If it is, how should I respond, right? And then it's even like, what is even my position on it? And I think that's where I think you started hinting at it, Courtney, like being firm in your own take, in your own belief, what you believe. Don't be so easily rattled and shaken and persuaded. If you know that's not what you believe, then kind of stay firm on,
Yeah.
right, that's your viewpoint.
Right.
Even if you're open to receiving that new knowledge, it's a preacher term, eat the meat, spit out the bones, take from it what you're supposed to take out of it, and, just,
the rest.
leave the rest. And if it's not for me to respond, I'm just gonna stay quiet. But that's easy for me because I'm an introvert and I'm a professional avoider. I will avoid a conversation. So it's beauty in all of it.
You acknowledging that, because I do have some friends that are more introverted, and I'm like, it's okay.
It's all right.
It is. God made us all that way for a reason.
Yeah. No, it's all right. It's all right to be an introvert.
And
I love being an introvert.
since the pandemic, I can see a lot of more folks, now,
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Y'all, I was good away from humanity in the pandemic. I was good. I was good. I know a lot of people, but for me as an introvert, it was fine taking a break from people. But no, great conversation so far. We definitely hope that you all here are enjoying it. So let's move to our next topic of discussion. Y'all, time has gone by so quick already.
Right.
And we now just getting halfway through. All right. Boundaries. What are current understandings in the young adult community, social media, even for you personally, right? What's your current understanding of boundaries, right? Are they wrong?
I don't think anybody could ever tell you if your boundary is wrong.
Right. That's very much open, as an educator. That's so open to interpretation. Like, and I think that's where everyone just has to set their own boundaries. If someone crosses that line, be willing to enlighten them
Right.
and why that's a line for you. If you don't feel comfortable explaining, you can just say, "Hey, that's a line. That's a boundary. Please don't cross that," and leave it at that. But I think, if they haven't been set, then, set those with either your family or your friends or whoever you might be around this holiday season if they don't know what those boundaries are.
Yeah, and don't feel guilty about it. I know, like for me, I still kind of tussle with it. Just being taught your whole life, like, oh, I'm the parent, or like you have to listen to me and obey me. You don't help or contribute to my household. So at some point, yes, I'm going to be respectful, but you have to be able, like you said, as an adult, we have to be able to speak as an adult. And if I'm saying, hey, what you're doing is causing an issue for me, at some point, if you're not going to be able to respect my boundaries, I'm going to have to kind of just
Take space.
love you from a distance. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And I mean, I would say with that, and this kind of goes into that point, I feel as though it deals with Eric's introvertedness point, is that don't, especially if you're around family, if you hit that moment or you feel like you have extroverted enough for the day or those boundaries have been crossed, I don't think there's anything wrong with, okay, I've been around family, I've been here, I've shown my face, so to speak, bounce.
Yeah.
And, go either recharge your extroverted battery or do whatever you've got to do to come back out and still enjoy the holiday season, whatever that might be for you personally.
So, question: why do we need boundaries? Right? You all constructed these boundaries. Why are they so necessary?
Mental wellness for me, being authentically myself, like setting those boundaries so that I don't feel as though I'm being a different person or being what you want me to be. So that's super important.
Yeah. Do you all tear your boundaries down when somebody's trying to cross it, or are you like firm? No, this is my boundary, and I'm keeping that thing up.
Firm.
Yeah.
So I'm actually ongoing learning to enforce them more, because it's something I actually started learning more about this year.
Yeah.
I did go to therapy, and they taught me that how boundaries is something, it's not a bad thing, it's a beautiful thing to have boundaries. And it's not always like a major one, like physical. It can be something someone said, anything that made you feel uncomfortable. And it's a healthy, beautiful thing to have, because it helps your mental health. It helps with your self-worth. Like, okay,
You put in yourself
what I
first.
feel matters.
Yeah. That's so.
One thing I look at, I'm very firm on my boundaries, and therapy has helped me with that as well. So I feel like starting last year up until this year, I'm more firm. It didn't always start out that way, but one of the things when someone is trying to like overstep with the boundary or something, the main question I put in my head is, why am I making myself uncomfortable to make someone else comfortable? I always ask myself that.
That's a sermon.
I get that on a t-shirt.
Say that phrase again.
Why are you making yourself uncomfortable to make someone else? And that's in all aspects, your job, family. Like, I set boundaries with my parents, with work, with friends. I even have some friends that just know, like, don't call me early before noon if it's not an emergency. That's a boundary of mine. In the morning, I like to start my day off with God. So unless it's an emergency, so I set boundaries in all aspects of my life.
That's a good thing.
Can I speak to the teachers that are listening on this podcast? With that being said, when we clock out of work at 2, 3, 4 o'clock on Tuesday, turn that phone off. Uninstall that email app. I'm turning my band app off, and I'm going on a blackout until I get back in the office Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning. They can catch Mr. Tomberlin then. Thank you. Please get your rest and relaxation. You overworked.
No, that's a good.
He said, "Why are we here? Let's make a public
Right. A public announcement. Love y'all, but that's a PSA for right now.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, it just reminded me of something I said in the Bible study, right? Boundaries aren't to hurt them, it's to guard you.
It is.
Yes.
That's some true. Yeah.
Are you gonna type that?
No, I have Proverbs. Go another way. So Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So that correlates to that perfectly.
It's to guard you.
It is, and I just love that.
Yeah.
Boundaries is something to
Yeah.
keep practicing. It's something. It's an ongoing thing.
It's ongoing.
So how do y'all feel? I mean, because with the question you said, like standing firm in your boundaries, like I would say I'm open to considering boundaries. Like if someone is important in my life and like, you know, they may have an opinion about something and I've never really considered it. Like, would you all kind of reconsider boundaries, or is it kind of just like, I said what I said?
No, well, it depends. It's situation based, I guess. Depending on what it is, I'll be open minded. But if it's something where, again, it's making me uncomfortable, like for example, just say someone is trying to keep forcing you to go somewhere, and you're like, oh, that's not my crowd, that's not my vibe, and they still keep trying to persuade you, something like that, I'm going to stand firm in it because I'm about to be uncomfortable just to accommodate you.
Right.
So yeah, so it's situation based for me.
Yeah. How close you are to that person, because somebody you just met, they don't actually know your boundaries yet. So that goes into when people say you teach people how to treat you by like what you allow and things like that.
That's even for close people too, because
especially
sometimes
for them, because they should especially already know it.
and sometimes people are still used to the old you where you didn't
The
have
people
boundaries.
pleasing
Yeah,
When you start seeing that,
they're
well,
like, who is this?
Right.
Like,
They
they
think
don't
you're a new
actually
person.
like that.
Yeah, that is so real.
Parents are one.
It's like real life right now.
Parents are the main ones where they're not used to you setting those boundaries. They're not used to you being an adult. They're used to you as that child. So it's a little challenging, but I stand firm with my parents too. Like, hey, no, that's uncomfortable. I don't want to do that. I don't have to go here. I don't have to go there. So yeah.
And the right people, they accept your boundaries.
They
too.
will.
You realize
Your
like,
real
the
ones
world
will.
didn't even end. Like, you know, because sometimes that anxiety can come like, oh, I wonder what they're gonna say. Are they gonna be mad at me? But then you're like, okay, I should have been started.
Right.
What my
Right.
therapist said, she was like, half of the time we create scenarios in our head, like, oh, that person going to be mad.
Yeah.
And
it's
and
not
you
that.
tell them, they're like, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You created a whole scenario.
Yeah, I think that's just what we do as people, right? We naturally plan for what's going to be the worst response,
Yeah.
and then we're off the track. Yeah, it's anxiety, the nerves, right? And then
PTSD.
yeah, what you experience in past. So it's like when you experience it, it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
Like, that's
maybe, yeah.
It's comforting.
I was expecting you be looking combative. And,
expecting to down there.
yeah. So here's what sociologists say as to how you, and therapists, as to how you construct healthy boundaries. One, before you go to the family gathering, predetermine which conversations you will engage in and the conversations that you will not engage in, right? What are your non-negotiables? And then stick to them. Secondly, if somebody asks an invasive or personal question, it is all right to change the subject, and it's all right to say, I don't feel comfortable with answering that question. Let's talk about something else, or you can easily just say, that's a personal question, and I don't want to answer that right now.
Yeah.
That's a boundary, right? Thirdly, if someone makes an unsettling comment, it's all right to tell them how you feel.
Yes. It does.
Yeah, because if
It
you
does
don't,
more harm when you hold it in.
Yeah.
Or-
And that goes with that being uncomfortable for someone else.
Yeah.
and they may not understand or know that it's uncomfortable for you. So that's that moment where you can educate them, like, well, hey, that made me feel uncomfortable. Can we not make that comment again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let them know because they may not know.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
A lot of times people, it might not even be.
They are so
intention.
unaware, and you just have to let them know.
Yeah. And people are gonna keep doing it unless you speak up.
They will.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
They'll keep pushing it until you say, yeah, you hurt my feelings on that,
Yeah.
right?
And then most times, speaking from my experience, I blow up. So it's like I get to a point where it's
that
like I
last
just
time
explode.
is it. Yeah.
Yeah. Fourthly, right? Set a limit how long you'll be at the gathering. Set the limit.
Like you said about driving yourself, my family already know. Like I'm that one that drives myself.
Yes, I will
I
meet you
have the
there.
social media. I can be
Me too.
extroverted, but once my social media is there,
I'm
like,
an
I'm really ready to
ambivert.
go.
Yeah.
And it's like I love to see y'all. Like love's still there, but I'm ready
Bye-bye.
to go.
Yeah.
So
That's dope.
you get there about
Yeah,
4,
that's
stay
what
about
my
5:30.
family already knows. Like,
Well,
I'm out.
not just that, but I mean, it's also, I mean, not just seeing blood family, but it's other family, you know, the people that I've gathered along the way, my brothers and sisters, if you will, that I want to be able to go and see them as well, not just my blood family. So, you know, set that limit. Be here. All right, cool. Now I'm going over here
Yeah.
to be with my friends as well.
Yeah. Another healthy boundary. Choosing which gatherings you'll go to, right?
Right.
Okay, you don't have to say yes to everything. Yeah, especially if it's gonna be, you already know it's gonna be some drama. Like, think through, right? Is this a setting that I actually want to be in
Right.
for either a short period of time, long period of time, or even just there at all, right? What's gonna guard your peace? And that's a question for you to reflect on this November. Before you go to that gathering, that family gathering, what will be best for your own mental and emotional health? So think through that question and have a game plan ready for Thursday. Lastly, if you need to walk away to collect yourself, do it. It's all right to remove yourself, to step outside the house and kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Count, go through. The Bible says this, just self-talk. You're not getting under my skin, not today, Satan. It's all right, remove yourself, right? To collect yourself, and then you go back when you are ready. I think the thing that I want people to understand is that you have agency, right? You have agency to guard yourself. You have agency to protect yourself. You have agency to properly care for yourself. And that's what we want you to do here on CAYA, right? So, yeah, take that. And, yeah, so what do you all think about these boundaries?
I will say a phrase that applies here. My university band director still preaches to the band to this day, is he will tell us, everything you do in moderation. And that right there sticks, and that applies to this situation.
Right.
Moderate it. Don't fully saturate and immerse yourself. Yeah.
And even though I'm working on enforcing them, it's not one time I've enforced it and was not proud of myself.
Yeah.
So if anyone's struggling with it, just know every time you do it, you feel stronger.
give yourself
and
a
more
little
proud of
praise.
yourself.
Yeah. Now, how did you feel starting off? Were you kind of like, should I have put that
nervous.
boundary?
Yeah, like we were saying earlier, like you might feel guilty about it.
It's
And
a
then
guilt.
I realized, like, wow, I've been putting myself on the back burner this long to the point that
That's
I'm feeling
good.
bad for
Yeah.
enforcing,
That's good.
my own well-being. So
And that's what I was gonna say. Like for me, it's a part of like my well-being, like my mental, like it's a part of self-care.
Yeah.
So just making sure that I find some type of time just to make sure that I'm putting myself first. Like
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Well, let's move on from this faith standpoint, right? I mean, we're CAYA. We talk about relevant topics that's pertaining to you as a flourishing human being, but we also want to make sure to bring faith and scripture into it too, right? Because we want to grow you with scriptural knowledge, but also we want you to see how Bible can be played out in your everyday life.
yes.
So one scripture that I was thinking about, as I'm thinking about what scripture aligns with disagreement, right? Being in this environment where you may feel like somebody has kind of wronged you. And I immediately thought of Matthew 18:15, right? Because at the end of it, right, you have Jesus saying, where 2 or 3 gather my name. I know everybody know that scripture. But let's go 5 verses up.
That's good.
And one, set that into context. And then 2, let's see what Jesus has to say about kind of engaging those who may wrong you, those who, as the New King James Version would say, have committed sins against you. So here's what the New King James Version says. And I'm reading in the NRSV version just to kind of help with the English a little bit. So the New King James Version says this: moreover, if your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. Go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. One more time for the Holy Ghost. If your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he hears you, you have gained your brother. Now, this is what the New Revised Standard Version says. If another member of the church sins against you, go and point out the fault when the two of you are alone. If the member listens to you, you have regained that one. The reason why I kept emphasizing that alone part, right? Because we live in this social media culture where we're so quick to take everything to social media, or as soon as something happened, we starting to triangulate and bring other people to our sides. But Jesus has something to offer. Yes, Jesus said it 2,000 years ago. So let's kind of give you the context to what Jesus was talking about. And then let's kind of wrestle with where we may, is this a practice we're seeing in today's time? And how does this even challenge our own practice and understanding of conflict/resolution? So in this passage, Matthew 18:15, Jesus is speaking about church discipline and is addressing how to handle when one member of the Christian community wrongs another member. One of the chief goals of Jesus in this verse is for resolution, peace, harmony to happen. Jesus does not want the tension to escalate in ways that things may escalate right now, right? Again, social media, right? Making an angry post and naming that person specifically, right? Even putting a picture of that person and putting a caption and telling everybody how bad that person is, right? But Jesus wants the conflict to resolve and prayerfully for the person to remain a member in the community. Notice that Jesus tells the disciples to speak to the wrongdoer in private. It's the person who was wronged who should take the initiative in approaching the person who committed the wrong. The reasoning for this is because the person was directly affected. Therefore, for Jesus in this community, conflict cannot be ignored. You can't just brush that thing away. Because Jewish understanding is that one wrong against a person affects the whole community. I mean, that right there even pushes against our own American context, because everything's so individualized here that it's just affect me and me only. But right, Jesus is addressing this community where it's like, well, a wrong against one person is a wrong against all. I would even say, what? This is not a question for y'all to reflect. It's just a question. It's a question for your reflection. You have to answer it. This concept of community and all, right? You're not you by yourself, but you are a part of a community, and Jesus made us to be a part of the community. So how does that even push against our own conception of operating in this world right now? Again, let's just reflect on that. So, of course, situations might not happen this way. So if you keep on reading, right, Jesus kind of provides two other examples of what to do, right? You bring 2 to 3 people in. If that doesn't work, then you go to the church leaders, and they help you. But it's just all with the initiative of conflict resolution. Ultimately, the goal for Jesus and his teaching is a peaceful and unified community. A community where love abounds. A person's humanity is not stripped from them, and reconciliation may even occur. So with this understanding of Jesus' understanding of conflict resolution, right, how does that kind of challenge our practices and understanding of conflict resolution, personally or just societally?
That was good.
That was.
No, I was just thinking about, like you were saying before, like not having all of the knowledge, like not having all of the information, so that whenever you are bringing up the wrongdoing or bringing up the conflict, it's like you're hot-headed about it, and you're not approaching it from like being level-headed, so that y'all can kind of have a discussion and say, hey, this is how you wrong, you wronged me, and this is how we can kind of make it better, continue working together as a community.
Yeah.
I love that. And especially how it says you will gain a brother if they hear you. So that just stresses how your tone is important.
Right.
And that's how I try to talk to people. Truly, how would I want them to come and tell me about this? And I just love that point, because it's hard sometimes to bring something up. But to keep it between y'all two, you don't have that influence of somebody else that might want to stir things up, because there are people out there that are instigators. So whenever you take it beyond just you and your brother, now you are opening that window for someone else that wants to make it a drama situation to be bigger than it even had to be.
Yeah,
So true.
yeah. How about y'all two? How does this kind of challenge or reaffirm? Right?
I will say it reaffirms. I know, like, a lot of me and my friends were all educators on every level from elementary to college, higher ed. And whenever we do have those moments where we kind of need to have that one, we all have that saying, step into my office, please. And that's like our way. It's like, okay, we're going to go over here and have this conversation away from everybody so we can kind of come to a mutual agreement, if you will, figure it out, hash it out, whatever have you, in a respectful manner. But I mean, it just reaffirms that having that conversation alone, you know, or, you know, be willing to table the conversation, you will, until a later point when both can come back to it with a cool, more educated level head.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So I know for me, I think it's a challenge. Well, not for me, but I just say one of the challenges for us as people is to not escalate, but to de-escalate. Right? Let's not make things worse than what they already are. But it should be right achieving that peace and achieving, even if it's just that you've done this to me, I want you to know it. Now back away. You know, but just transmit peacefully, calmly, right, how you feel. And we must remember that conversation should be had when we're ready to address the conflict. Right? Hurt people hurt people. If you are not ready to address the conflict in and of yourself, you can now end up doing further damage by now hurting somebody else because you weren't ready to address that conflict. You haven't worked through how you fully feel, right? You haven't even fully thought about and reflected on how you feel. So just because somebody may apologize, right, it doesn't mean that you have to even have that conversation with them and how you truly even felt right there. Their sorry does not force you into doing something you're not ready to do yet.
That's good.
Yeah. So Leslie, let's get to our last topic, y'all. How y'all have been enjoying this conversation so far?
Oh, no, absolutely.
Good.
Helpful.
Enlightening.
Yeah.
Every day, you know?
Yeah. And it's definitely timely, right, with Thanksgiving next week, being around family, Christmas a month away. So it's definitely a conversation. Head into New Year. It's a lot going on.
Carry this conversation over. We got through Thanksgiving, use this to get through the holidays all the way into 2025.
Yeah. So now let's go to our emotional well-being and self-care. How do you all typically care for yourself after family gatherings? Do you even do it? Do you see a necessity of doing it? Or what do you do?
That's when I get around with my friends and, you know, our age bracket, you know, we all have those times where it's just like, love them, but, you know, we're all grown and we get annoyed or our batteries run dry. So just get together with my friends and, you know, we may go grab a late night food grab or something like that and just hang out and socialize and decompress amongst ourselves.
So you're more extroverted.
I tend to be. I will say, naturally I am an introvert, but what made me an extrovert was joining band when I was a kid, and then going to an HBCU because there were so many people that would just walk past me on campus and be like, "Oh, hey, Scotty, how you doing?" Who are you? But you know, I was the white guy in the band, so everyone knew my face, and that just, you know, kind of forced me into extroverted tendencies. But like you too, I mean, my battery runs dry, and I gotta go back and recharge that social battery.
Oh, mine real quick. See, I'm not gonna leave a family gathering and go see somebody else.
See.
I'm going home.
One thing I'm gonna do is go home.
Oh, right.
For me, as a person that get overstimulated very quick, for me, I need that isolation after being around family. My mom can't stand it, but that's just me. I recharge for myself. You know how other people recharge with other people. I have to draw inward.
Yeah.
I have to isolate.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think that's
Even Jesus, many times he went alone to his quiet place just to be with God and him.
Jesus had to pray.
Yeah.
Jesus wasn't an introvert.
He didn't mind taking time with
Not me.
But he like, y'all ain't gonna get all my power in there. I can't even care for
You
myself in
exhausted.
charge. Right?
Yeah.
I gotta go pray.
That's when you can't pour from an empty cup. I love
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't pour from empty. You can't pour if you yourself not filled.
No.
Yeah.
Amen.
Wow. Wow. Go ahead, Courtney.
No, seriously. Being
Right.
a new mother, like, I've truly learned that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like I put him first, but if I don't make sure I'm straight first,
Yeah.
I can't even
How
tend
can
to
you
him how I
tend
need
to
to,
him?
you know?
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of mothers don't realize that, so that's good that you mentioned that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you still have to remember you first.
Yeah.
You are you before the mother.
Wow,
That is the
that's good.
first.
Wow, Courtney, that's good. That's good. What's fun?
Yeah, no, that's good. Seriously.
Yeah, so you two, how do y'all care for yourselves?
Depending on what's in the wallet. Um,
Amen.
So yeah, shopping.
no, I like doing like getting a massage, if I have funds, provide, or even taking a walk. Like I think a lot of times for me, folks are asked, they're like, well, I don't have money to do this and that or self-care. There's so many things you can do without
DIY.
money. You know what I'm saying? Read a book, take a walk, go to the library. Like those things help me just kind of like recuperate my thoughts.
After the family events, it's usually really good. Like we just like go to sleep. I think it plays a part how you start your day. Like I love how you said like early in the morning. Like that's my time to go ahead and set my intentions for the day. So just trying to be proactive before you even get there can help a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe after you won't feel the need to debrief so heavy. You just already got yourself in that state of mind. Like okay, I'm about to be around my family today, and then after I'm gonna relax.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
setting your tone of the day helps.
Oh, that's good.
Eric,
yeah.
do you remember where me and you went when you congratulated me for passing the praxis exam? That right there's a wind down right there.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
What about you? Like, what do you do?
Self-care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Mr. Introvert.
I didn't do interrogation.
I go and be an introvert and play my game. It takes me a lot of time to recharge.
Me too.
It takes me I need a whole day.
Oh, that's
Like
it.
Thursday, I mean, and that's if I get ready to want to do something. But like Thursday, so after Thanksgiving Thursday, well, it's gonna take a lot of me to really go shopping on Black Friday because that's a lot of people. I don't know you, but it's like it's taking my energy being around you.
Yeah.
Now, if I want to partake in the sales, right, I'm gonna go. But ideally, I would want to just stay home all day and not do anything. Yeah, that's and play my game. Yeah, that's play my game and like watch my TV shows.
That's off the car. You're like, okay, about to go play the game.
Right.
I got stuff to do. This. Like I gave y'all the hour. We gonna talk. We gonna play. I'll see y'all next Tuesday.
There you go.
Yeah, but I think what I want to encourage you all. Partake in whatever healthy activity or hobby that you like, right? I think one thing we got to recognize is that after the family gatherings, we now got to go and care for ourselves.
Right.
One insightful practice that my therapist had me to start doing is kind of a self-reflection, a self-check-in, and ask myself, how we doing right now? And like really think about, right? Like think about human interaction. Think about, was there anything throughout the day that kind of bothered me that I didn't really pay attention to? How am I feeling right now?
Right.
If I'm feeling sad, why?
Right.
What's the cause of it? What could have went? What could have triggered it? Right? If I'm happy, why? What happened? How was my day joyful? Right? So you're just going through this whole self-reflection, and particularly you're doing it in kind of a space to where one is quiet, but two, when you're done, you leave it there.
Right.
You don't carry it with you elsewhere because you don't need to bring no emotion. Again, that's easier said than done because the first time she had me do it, I was like, say, I'm mad at you because now I feel a little bad. Yeah, I'm trying to play my game and I don't want to play it right now because I did this self-reflection and I'm a little angry right now. So you gotta find a place to leave it, and often journaling too. Journaling is a great
Yes.
Yeah, journaling is a good practice.
Go back and reread it.
Ooh,
and
you ever
be in
looked
such-
over your stuff?
Yes.
And you're like, woof.
You're such in a whole different headspace, and it just encourages you to keep going.
Yeah, no, that's good. See, I had like 3 books. I just forget which book I wrote some in. So
I'm the same.
they spread out. I got one
Yeah.
in my office, one at home. I mean, it's
Yeah, with you.
I need to be accessible. I can't go back. But that's a good. Yeah, journaling is a great practice, and go back and read your stuff.
Right.
Yeah, read what is your experience when you read kind of things that you read?
it
Do you see
encourages
progress?
me. Yeah, because sometimes when you are in a storm or just feel like you got a lot going on, you don't think it'll get better. But then that's when you go back to remember, okay, God brought me out of this. That was
Yeah.
even worse.
Right.
You know, you just reflect on your own testimony.
Yeah.
Like, wow, God brought me through this. When I was sick, He healed me before. So this time, why not? Would He not do it again? You know.
You look back on the journey and just see how God has kept you the whole
Yeah.
time. Yeah,
Mm.
it's mind blowing.
I feel like church.
Okay.
God.
I could
Right.
Boy, I almost raised my hand on that one. Look back over my life. Boy, tell Scott to cue that Hammond right now.
Right.
Well, fam, we certainly have enjoyed our time with you on tonight. Before we leave, we want to recommend 2 sources for you on how to either care for yourself mentally or how to engage in conversation. Again, we live in a time where you kind of don't want to engage with those who disagree with you, but we're human. In human interaction, you need it to be human. So the first resource is a book that was just given to me, and I think it's a brilliant and great book. It's called Nonviolent Communication by Marshall B. Rosenberg, Dr. Marshall B. Rosenberg. It's a great book. They're going to lay out in a lot of practical steps, different. It's about 12 chapters, easy read, but they're going to lay out different ways of how to engage in dialogue. So when you heard me say the moralistic judgment, the value judgment, that's all from them, and you'll love it. So read that book. It's a great book. And then secondly, we have our mental health conversation this Saturday. So just throwing out another plug for that. We know that the holidays are indeed a difficult time for you, and we want you to be able to go into it, right, showing greater care for yourself, greater awareness to what you might need, and then taking care of yourself afterwards into the new year. So, fam, we definitely loved you. We enjoyed you all on this evening. Thank you for joining in. How did y'all like the topic tonight?
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
Good,
I
helpful?
love it. Yeah.
Good. Well, fam, we will see you on our next episode of CAYA. But until then, be blessed, and we'll see you later.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.